Representatives of almost 200 countries are collection in Poland for negotiations on environment changing, designed at respiratory new lifetime in the Paris Treaty. The UN has alerted the 2015 Paris Consent's purpose of restrictive world heating to so under 2°C over before industrial levels is in risk since main economies, consisting the US and the EU, are declining brief of their pledges. But scientists at the Interstate Pane on Environment Changing, IPCC, the guideline World Flesh on World Heating, recent monthly reasoned the 2°C Paris collateral didn't go far quite. The world ordinary heat growth in fact necessary to be stored under, they told. So how hot has the planet got and which can we do on it? The world ordinary heat for the at first 10 months of 2018 was over the levels of 1850 to 1900, on to 5 alone kept world information sets. 2017 10 warmest year 10 coldest year 20th age ordinary heat colder the 20 warmest year on recording include been in the history 22 year, in 2015 to 2018 manufacturing up the top 4 persons, the WMO says. If the tendency continues, temperature may growth by 3-5°C by 2100. One extent may not audio love lot, yet, on to the IPCC, if countries failure to instrument, the planet will person disastrous changing, sea levels will growth, sea temperature and sourness will growth and our capacity to increase cereal, such as rice, corn and grain, would be in risk. The year saw recording top temperature in lot places through the planet among an extraordinarily lengthy time of hot weather. Big components of the northern brain hemisphere saw a continuity of heat waves get conduct in Europe, Asia, Polar America and Northern Africa, a outcome of powerful top blood pressure system how created a warmth cupola. Above the time shown on the map under, May to July 2018, the amber dots show wherever a warmth recording was break on a taking into account day, rose indicates places how were the hottest they had always been in the monthly shown, and black-red represents a location how was the hottest with accounting records began. Disappointed, yours web browser cannot screen the map. The anxiety is how such a hot and common cold weather fronts are creature locked, jammed above regions for length periods, more than often since of environment changing, guideline to more than excess weather events. If we add up all the promises to cut emissions done by countries how include signed the Paris Environment Treaty, the planet would yet hot by more than rather than 3°C by the end of the age. Above the history 3-year, environment scientists include displaced the determination of which they trust is the secure range of environment changing. For many decades, researchers reasoned the world heat growth must be stored under 2°C by the end of the age to escape the lowest impacts. Countries' signature up to the Paris Treaty incorporated to hold temperature so under 2°C over before industrial levels and to conduct efforts to range the heat growth though future to. But scientists now accept how we in fact requirement to hold heat rises to under. The US ecological politics has displaced by the Trump card authority, that has prosecuted a pro-fossil embers order of business. Following take office space, CEO Donald Trump card announced the US would remove of the Paris Environment Changing Treaty. At the period, Mr. Trump card told he requested to conduct negotiations anew equitable transactions how would not inconvenience US business community and workers. And it's the more rapid growing cities how are largest at hazard, consisting megacities Love Lagos in Nigeria and Kinshasa in the more democratic Republic of Congo. Several 84 of the planet's 100 fastest growing cities person excess risks of growing temperature and excess weather driven on by environment changing. The degree of Arctic sea ice has omitted in latter year. It achieved its minimum spot on recording in 2012. The Arctic Sea may be ice complementary in the summer as quickly as the 2050s, except emissions are diminished, the board has told. The WMO found the degree of Arctic sea ice in 2018 was lot reduce rather than regular, in the maximal in March the tertiary minimum on recording and the September minimal the 6 minimum. Time government's requirement to do big changes, individuals can act apart too much. Scientists say we all include to do fast, distant reaching and unparalleled changes to our lifestyles, in procedure to escape strongly injuring environment changing. The IPCC says we requirement to buy less than flesh, breast milk, cottage cheese and oil, eat more than local sourced seasoned meal, and cast less than of it off, driving electrical cars but go or loop brief distances, get trains and buses instead of planes, use video conference instead of industry journey, use a wash link instead of a fall dryer, isolate homes, consumer demand low carbon sequestration in each customer food. The solitary largest way to bring yours ecological effect on the earth is to update yours dietary to involve less than flesh, on to latter teaching. Scientists say we ought to eat less than flesh since of the carbon sequestration emissions the flesh production produces, as some adverse ecological impacts. For sample, bovine grown on deforested earth produces 12 times more than hothouse gas emissions rather than such fed on nature pastures. Critically, the analyze shows how flesh in the minimum ecological effect yet creates more than hothouse gas emissions rather than increasing vegetable culture and grass cereal in the low ecologically friendly path. By Nasso Styliano, Clara Giburg, Daniel Dunford and Lucy Rogers.